Let me resize the chat so I might actually have a chance of reading something. Maybe. Hello. How's everybody doing? How's things? How's life? How's the universe? How's your week been? What has everybody been up to? Let me get the old Discord. There we go. Hello. How is everybody doing? Hello, John. How's how's your week been? That's always a fun question. Close that one. Hello. How's things? Let's get rid of. No, go away. Sorry for the noise. That would be Thunderbird not shutting up. And I always forget to close it before I launch the stream, because the music that you hear is just playing through my my headset that's not on. Mr. Word there. I know. Well, I try and pretend to not swear for the first like 5 minutes of the stream. Yeah, how's your week been? I have been busy as always. Busy in lots of different ways. The camera that I use to film all of my videos is a Panasonic GH5, which is a great camera. Still works great. It's a great choice. The problem is that the power switch broke off, and then I tried to take the easy option and super glue the power switch back on, and it worked until the glue seeped down a bit and then locked it in place, and then I had to use my iFixit toolkit to like free it, so it did still turn on and off. However, it also broke more of the bit off. So I spent from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. fully dismantling my camera to super glue it back together, to then put it all back together properly. And there wasn't any missing screws. Technically, there was one extra screw, but I found a place to put it, so it's fine. And that place is in the camera. I'm just pretty sure it's not the same place that it came out of. Oh, so yeah. That's what I was doing today. Very stressed today. Also, as if I'm ranting personally before we, hit the usual hour and everyone arrives, I was complaining about the saga with my fridge not working and failing in a rather interesting way. So we had the engineer come out. This might have been before last week, actually, but we got a new one. We went to Curry's, which is where we bought it originally, and they gave us an uplift number. So basically, you go to Curry's and say, the manufacturer has given us this number. We want a new fridge, and they go, cool. You have the exact money you spent 4 years ago to pay for a new fridge. I don't know if you know this, but there's this thing called inflation, where all of the manufacturers have basically upped their prices because they can, and so that means that a like-for-like replacement was basically double the price that we paid in 2019. So we found one. Beko and Grundig are the same company, they're just different faces. Beko is the slightly lower tier one, but we found basically the exact same fridge, to the point where we took the shelves and drawers out of our old fridge and put them in the new one, and they're a perfect match. That's how exact it is. For only £70 more. I've decided, by the way, if this fridge fails, especially because we only get 1 year of warranty with it, I'm just gonna build my own fridge. I'm just gonna get a car, AC compressor, and just do it myself. Just do it myself. I'll use an Arduino. I can even use an ESP 32 to make it a Wi-Fi controlled fridge. Actually, do you know what? If I could put a Zigbee module in there, I 100% would, purely so that I can just have the temperature data in Home Assistant. So yeah, that that will happen at some point. There's less money than buying a new fridge that will break in 3 years. Oh dear. So yeah, that's what I'm up to. TechteamGB. Do you know what? If I did do it, I would. Well, actually, I don't know if I would make a video on it because it would be a bodge job. Although saying that, the manufacturers really only do a bodge job, so. Oh, I bought a Samsung TV from Curry's and got delivered an LG worth £150 more than the Samsung, so I kept the LG. Amazing. Oh, that's fantastic. How old was the fridge? I bought it in 2019. It was manufactured in 2019. So 4 years old. Hello, Simon. Also, hello, Luca. Hello, Yanalisa. Welcome back. Hello, Harry. Hi, Chris. And hello, Ish. How are you guys doing? Can the rich YouTube man please give me £260 for tires? I don't have any money. I don't even have 100,000 subscribers yet. Oh. Ba 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 ba. In Italy, they'll fix any appliance. They swapped the compressor, but I'm pretty sure it was the condenser, like the radiator on the back, basically, that was clogged or something. And they don't carry that part, so bin it. Hello, HME, and hello, Essentialist. How you guys doing? To reiterate, still regretting chucking my old boiler. Should have welded it again. Yeah. The question, I'm from Germany, but you think it's a good idea if I buy PC parts on Amazon and the CPU and GPU from eBay and then sell it for profit? So I assume what you mean is it a good idea for you to buy all the parts for a PC, including, I assume, used CPU and GPUs, and then sell the system, on eBay or something for a profit? Is that what you're asking? Just to clarify. Yeah, another user? No problem. Always great to have you when you can. Yes. Okay. So what you're essentially saying is it a good idea to become a system integrator? Because a system integrator just buys parts, builds a PC, and then sells it for as much a profit as they can get, right? The problem is that, especially if you're selling parts with used, selling systems with used parts, there is effectively support obligations that you will need to meet if you're selling that, purely on the fact that if you're selling it through eBay and or PayPal, the buyer can and will take the money back from you with, not insurmountable ease. And the other side is that you're going to struggle to make a profit there, specifically because gamers in particular generally know the price of all the components individually. And so if you are selling them a system that costs significantly more than it costs to build it, well, there are lots of services that would just, charge 50 quid or whatever, 50 euros, to have this, like, to build any system you want. And also, like, they could go to a reputable system integrator. And yeah, it's just, it's very low margin. And there's also often a lot of longer term costs associated with it. So you're welcome to try. Many have. All have failed. Unless you're Chris, and then you did it for however many years it was. Yeah. Platform selling fees, postage costs, refund risk, overhead for faulty parts, your time not worth it. Exactly. This is the comment you need to read. Yeah. I miss living in a bigger city, reselling PC parts for profit. There can be some margin in it, depending on, as you say, sell it in a poorly lit park. That would be a better option in terms of trying to get your money out of it. But yeah, would it be illegal? It would only be illegal if you represented it as a wholly new system. If you make it clear that it includes, used parts, that's fine. If you represent it as all brand new parts, then it's illegal. Then that's, I guess, fraud or false advertising, or one of the two. So yeah. Hello, Hugh. How you doing? And hello, Joe. Also, hello, Absid. How you doing, man? How's things? No, I'd say it has used CPU and GPU. In that case, it's perfectly legal. No problems there. You're just going to struggle to make any money out of it. Like I said, you're welcome to try. It's your money. Yeah, that's our advice. Take it or leave it. I tended to make a profit by buying full systems and other stuff, then breaking it down into individual components and selling it like that. It takes time and you need storage. It's kind of the same with really low value cars. If you have the time and effort and storage space, selling a car for $1,000 or whatever as a full, possibly even working car, is significantly less money than you would make by stripping all the parts off of it and selling them individually, because you could sell, a front door for 350 quid. Well, there's 2 front doors. You're almost at the $1,000 already, all the body panels, generally, as long as they're in good condition, they can go for plenty. And then obviously, like, the possible benefit is that if you're, someone asks, hey, can I have this, like, really specific trim piece? You can go, yeah, sure, 30 quid. And they go, perfect, I can't find that anywhere. And you've made 30 quid from the tiniest little bit of plastic, So it's the same with computers as well, as you say. But yeah, you need the time, effort, and the other way around. Top tip: if you're selling on a used market, the police will not care if it's under 4 digits. Oh no! Oh, I'm so sorry, man. Might turn a paddock into a breaker shard. It can be profitable if you, are smart about it. No worries, Gaming 103. Happy to help. I've been building gaming PCs for a long time. You can tell you if you're in Australia, you'll make bugger all, as everyone wants it for less than the cost of the parts. Yeah. Like, in theory, larger system integrators hypothetically can offer that, in the sense that, If they're buying, buying in bulk, if you're buying 1,000 or 10,000 CPUs, if you're using all of the same, chip in every SKU, whatever, uh, you're going to get volume discounts from either the what you call it? I've forgotten all the words. Large volume orders, or even potentially Intel Direct, Intel AMD Direct, depending on how big your volume actually is. So hypothetically, you could. Yeah, distributor, I think is the word I was looking for. I swear there's a word for the kind of like top level distributors, like the ones that buy from AMD or whatever, and then who would sell to someone like overclockers, for example. Um, Although overclockers are part of Case King, so they probably get volume discounts in terms of their purchasing anyway. So whatever. Yeah. As always, if I missed anything, feel free to post it again. Did you hear about smart toothbrushes are hackers nowadays? Everything that is connected to the internet can and will be hacked. That's why I don't like Wi-Fi connected smart shit. Like Zigbee is in theory better because it doesn't have a direct connection to the internet. It has a direct connection to my Home Assistant system, but yeah, no. Why would you need a smart toothbrush? What does it even do? I really don't know. Like, I assume that there's some stats about how long you brush your teeth every day, and I don't know how much motion you have, and there's probably some element of gamification, like if you move it enough, it tracks sort of distance for how much you. Oral B will say you an AI powered toothbrush. Why? What for? What does the AI do? Does it just whisper sweet nothings into your mouth? Yeah. GPUs basically have zero volume discount now. That I'm not surprised about. Yeah. By the way, went for the Newfie Halo 75 and I'm very satisfied. It's a great keep. Nice. Glad you got one that you like. I have accounts with manufacturers and the profit margins are maybe 5% on GPU, CPU, and other parts 10-ish, and you'll make your money on peripherals. Yeah, that's pretty obvious. When you see that like a, I don't know, £200 Keychron keyboard is like a solid brick of aluminium with, custom PCBs and all this really nice pre-lubed stuff. Like lots of labor went into it as well as the parts cost. And then you look at a Corsair £200 keyboard and it's like cheap plastic. Oh no. I love that ovens, toothbrushes, and X toys can take down critical infrastructure these days. Yeah. Actually, what was I? Oh, I was looking. um, as part of the development of my open source tools, I was looking. I want to see if I can do like the USB connection a bit differently. So instead of just the standard Arduino, which is UART like serial over USB, I wanted it to just appear as a USB device, and then I just talk USB to it. So I was looking for .NET, which is like the Microsoft platform for developing for Windows and C Sharp, which is what I use. I was looking for .NET packages for like USB communication, so that it's sort of all nicely wrapped up, and I could just write, whatever callback, USB write this, USB read this, whatever. I found a very interesting .NET package for USB data transfer. I think it was called like buttplug.io, and it's an open source repository for open source firmware of toys, adult toys, the digital ones. The stuff on Nuki, honestly. Yeah. Open source suppository. Well played, well played. Oh god. Teledildonics. So yeah, that was an interesting one. Serial over USB. So serial, it's virtualized serial over USB. So sort of, yes. Lethal Company has a mod for PPIO. Of course they do. Is C++ app still used? You certainly can do C++. C# is the one, the language and .NET as the sort of framework that I've been using basically the whole time because it's what I knew when I started, and I'm now in too deep. Also, like C++, as like god tier as it is, you do need to be a graybeard, and no. So yeah. Chocolate cereal USB. These days the hype is Electron. I agree. You've been talking about it a lot. What was it? All this fake AI crap makes me unreasonably angry. The AI doesn't exist. I'd say yeah, but I'm not sure it ever will. Yeah. It's as Abigail from Philosophy Tube says, it's really just large scale computing, and the idea that it is artificially intelligent to any form is just ridiculous. It's not at all. So yeah. Even our company has fake AI stuff now. Oh no. That's what I should do. I should say that the response time tool data, like the processing is AI, and maybe people will stop questioning results. Oh god. If I cared about profit at all. The GPU manufacturers are making 5% or less price up pick and place unit for small parts. It's 500k minimum per unit, soda baths 30k, programming, maintenance costs, etc. While I agree in practice, I don't know if it is like, I don't know what no. Yeah, so oh god. I went on a real trip in my head there, remembering basic facts. You're right. Although that is what you might call amortized costs. So while it will cost you 500k minimum per unit for a pick and place machine, you only need to buy that once, and then you can use that to make lots of stuff, which helps justify that cost. My understanding is that Nvidia, and I assume AMD, charges a fair amount for the core itself, leaving relatively little space left over, like margin left over for the manufacturers to do things like you say, actually build the boards and all the software development for custom BIOSes and maintenance and support and distribution and your end distributors taking their cuts, all that sort of stuff. So yeah. Puma, we were going to say that we have blockchain to get investors. It would have worked. At the time, it would have. Just build a single neural network for it. It literally just takes the finished processed data and passes it straight through. If it were intelligence, then it would keep thinking without external input. When it's not engaged, it's just stopped. It's just number crunching. I mean, but it's still amazing. Yeah, it's the talk of like ChatGPT getting access to the internet. Oh, how scary! It's no more complicated in terms of like the function than like running a Docker container. Like it's just a program that's running on OpenAI servers. Actually, they're probably not OpenAI servers. Maybe they are actually running on an server somewhere. It's just a like what you call it? It's just a program. It's not alive. It doesn't act on its own. And as you say, when you're not actively querying it, the instance that you have is that you're using is spun up on the fly. Like it's just a program that gets instantiated to serve whatever request you have, and then it goes away. By the way, had my printer hacked. The guy was a Russian from the USA and started printing how he did it, called me an idiot for using net printing, and started printing a racist manifesto. Sake. Well, hopefully you've sorted that now. GG. And yeah. To be fair, it's all about perspective. One could argue that it's more intelligent than some people. Yeah, it probably is. Gaming 1-3. I just looked. The parts, everything else, would cost €373. Around the same build for €500. Actually about 330 because I have a power supply in the back room just laying on my shelf. Right. Okay. Fair enough. That is initially a promising idea, and hey, you could try it this once and see if it works. Like we said, the issue isn't necessarily the immediate deal. It's that when you list that system on eBay for €450, let's say, assuming someone does buy it, eBay takes, I can't remember how much, but probably a decent chunk. If you use PayPal, PayPal takes another decent chunk. And then even if you make the buyer pay for shipping, which will make them not want to buy it, you kind of have to offer free shipping. That's another, €30 with for a PC. And now you're down to less money than you started with. And that's before you even think about what if any of that fails and they plan on, and they ask for a refund. $10% for eBay total. You can't use PayPal now. Oh, damn. Well, there you go. Facebook Marketplace for the win. It is cheap. Well, it's free to list. Depends if they pay by PayPal or not, but still. I hated some of the troubleshooting I had to do for people. I had a kid get annoyed at me because they set up their Epic Games account on their dad's work email, and the company went bust, so the account closed. Oh, yeah, I can only imagine. Like, one of the nice things about me selling the response time tools and latency tools is that generally speaking, oh no worries, no, these are great to have you all I can. Is that generally speaking, I'm selling to a pretty well educated audience. Um, generally speaking, it's not the your average member of the public or even average gamer that's buying these. It is reviewers who uh, have some knowledge of how the stuff that they're testing works and um, are generally sort of in the same field, and so it's a much more professional environment. And so even when I do get I don't get complaints, but I get user feedback for bugs or questions and things. It's all generally pretty professional. It's generally pretty, hey, can I ask you this quickly? No big deal, no rush. Can I just check this? Rather than like, you know, 8-year-olds asking how to log into Fortnite. uh, Falcon or Avon tires? I didn't realize the lipstick people made tires. I've had people claim CPUs are dead and then force a refund. Amazing. Michelin Pilot Sport 4s. Actually, they got the Pilot Sport 5s now. I have Falcon. Pretty decent. I have heard reasonable things about Falcon, so that probably. Andy, eye contact is unbuckling your belt, not the shirt. I need to create an only. My MG doesn't deserve them. Then use the lipstick tires. Being stared at intensely while removing clothes is not what I expected from this stream. I'm so sorry. How do I get lower latency on Fortnite? So there's this really, really cool like keybind you can use. You press Alt and then you press F4. Oh dear. Oh, the mute on the Elgato Wave 3 is great. Oh, do we have any sensible conversation left? I don't think so. Oh, actually, well, I'm talking about the tools that I make. So I mentioned last week that I'd bought this color sensor board with the color sensor that I wanted to use. Turns out it's not a great fit. Several reasons why, but I bought this other one from the same company. So let's unbox it. They actually have a really cool like box system. They've got an outer sleeve, and then they have another sleeve, and then there's the PCB inside another sleeve. There we go. So this is the one I'm planning on using now. That little thing there. TMD 3719. At least that's the idea. which does mean that I now have 3 separate color sensors from the same people. uh, yeah, you are left with quite a lot of shell boxes. And he's unsleeving everything today. I didn't realize it'd be that kind of stream either, really. While I would like to be able to use this immediately, I need to write an Arduino library for it, because while Micro do have their own library for their own SDK, I'm not using their controller or SDK, so I have to write my own library. Which once I have it all done, I'll submit it to Arduino so that anyone can use it if you're mad enough to want to use the sensor for everything. Very open source. Well, everything I make is generally pretty open source, so yeah. I really hate closed source stuff for the fact that there is no way to repair, to modify, or even to understand how it works a lot of the time. When stuff is super closed off, you know, there is a non-zero chance that I will not be around at some point. In fact, it's a 100% chance that I won't be around at some point. But if that happens sooner than I'm expecting, if someone wants to be able to build their own response time tool to be able to test monitors still, if I keep that fully closed source, that's just like lost to time unless someone, like my wife, just releases everything. So I would much rather have it be publicly available and it be public knowledge rather than keeping everything squirreled away for not that much difference, really. So yeah. No worries, gaming 113. Catch you then. Viewed 4 flats this week, viewing another tomorrow. Only sensible thing I have to mention, mostly depressing. Our rent price is now $1,400 a month for a 2-bed flat. The house my mate is renting has a gas leak, so he has no heating or gas cooking. Also found his water pipes are lead. Nice. Best of luck to him. I would like everything I have to be false, but Apple ain't on the same opinion. No, they're not. Yeah, Apple is a great example of why open source would be better. Because then they couldn't get away with doing all the closed door ecosystem unrepairable shit they do. How many attempts to cable mod need to make a 12-volt high power connector angled adapter before they give up? Lots of issues. Strange how they can't make a clip strong enough to keep it in place. I have to assume it's probably because they're not using. So like, I think I want to say that Amphenol is the company who designed that 12-volt high power connector, and basically whenever the companies someone like Corsair or something makes power supply, that connector that's on the end comes from Amphenol or one of their, uh, sister manufacturers. And so it is, designed by them. The materials are all, as designed, whatever. Um, but the with the cable mod right angled adapter, as far as I'm aware, it's they're not just using an off the shelf, like plug on the end. Basically, I could be wrong, but if that is the case, then it would make a lot of sense as to why they're having so many issues, because they have to reverse engineer what is just undoubtedly a bad connector. And so, things like the materials, perhaps even the exact dimensions, stuff like that, all of that is sort of up for debate and for manufacture. And so, yeah. It depends. Just whack a kettle leak plug on the GPU. Oh, one day. One day. But the walled garden is so pretty. No. I can appreciate how the Stockholm syndrome has really set in for you, but no, I can appreciate the view from inside the garden is probably a lot nicer than the view from outside, but yeah, still doesn't make it any good. Yes, Luca. Link that in the Discord. We would all be interested in that. Oh, is it SFP? Right. I mean, that's still decent, and you can still just buy pre-made SFP connections, for not that much money. I mean, I have 10 gigs, so I don't care. But I wouldn't mind more 10 gig. But I can copy on my Mac and paste on my iPhone. It's perfect. I'm sure there are apps for that on like Windows and Android and stuff. Yeah. Meh. I can get 4 gig fiber to the property. Alright, show off. Lucas posted a link in the stream chat if anyone's interested. High source. Why does that look a lot like high sense? Oh. Are they all the 2.5 gig ones? Yeah. I'll have a look for some 10 gig ones. Looks a bit like a fire starter. Tech question. I just upgraded the last slow part on my PC, so I'm now 100% happy with it. But I don't know what to do with my life anymore. Any ideas? There's lots of other expensive hobbies. Cars, depending on where you are, guns, airplanes, boats. Lots of things that you could waste your life on. Bikes, yeah. Both, mountain and motor. Every hobby can be expensive once you think you might like it. Yeah. Yeah, cameras as well. Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, the theory is that you would enjoy the games that you play on said PC, or you just wait like 3 months until you realize that you're not quite happy with that one little bit, and then the cycle starts again. You know. I suppose I can upgrade the dust filters to RGB ones. Fuck. Oh dear. RC cars and planes, yeah. Skiing, camera, hiking, yes, somehow. Cycling, PC stuff, climbing, just to name some of my expensive hobbies. What have I got? Technically cameras, because that's work, so I don't know if that counts as a hobby. Mountain biking. I used to have a motorbike, I sold it. But definitely cars. I do like climbing, although I haven't invested much gear in it. Obviously the PC stuff. Electronics is another bad one. Jesus. Music. I play guitar and then I play the drums. I've been learning, and I'm not horrendous. Hello DT. How you doing? What cars are in your stable? I wish I had the room for more than one. But the answer is an Audi S4, 2013. So V6, 3-liter supercharged with all-wheel drive, proper all-wheel drive, not the Haldex. It's Torsen center diff and all-wheel drive, and the DSG, 7-speed DSG. No, they never sold it as a manual in the UK. It is the dual speed automatic, but it's not clunky. Yes, it's quite brisk, and it's very reliable. It's the estate, which there's a running gag of I can fit both a washing machine and a dishwasher in the back of the car at the same time. Ask me how I know that. So yeah, it's practical, it's fast, and it's fun, and it makes me smile every time I drive it. How long can you play the drums before your body falls to pieces? It's actually mostly my back that's the worst part, because when you sit on the drumming stool, there's not great support, and so yeah, it's normally my back that goes first. Two songs, 3 at push, so 6 to 9 minutes. I've been tempted by an Audi S4 late 90s 2.7 twin turbo V8 Quattro. Is that the one that had the what was it that goes on those? Was the head gaskets the valve stem seals? One of them. DQ250 is the S4 gearbox. I think it's a DL510. I remember. I can't remember. What was that? No, that's in the V8 one. I'm sure that the V6, the B5 or the B6 S4 that had the twin turbo V6, I'm pretty sure that had some awful issues. Hello Jim, how you doing? How's things? They have the DQ500 too. Maybe it's that. Maybe. Yeah. Either that or a Nissan Stagia, because who doesn't want an estate GTR? It's very boxy, and I don't really like boxy. But also, yes. But also, they never sold it as a GTR, so you can retrofit stuff, but it's not quite the same. Are we talking about cars? We are indeed. Just buy an E55 compressor. That thing is super reliable and hella quick. It is, but but it's old and it eats fuel like a monster. I'm in mine. I think I get, if I was only doing motorway driving, I would probably get 350, maybe 400 miles at a push from a tank, which is 65 liters. It's not a lot, is it? And if I'm driving it around town, 300 miles. A lot of that is my driving style. Thank you very much, DC. It will show up here, well, here actually at some point in a second. But thank you very much. Very kind. Shouldn't we be talking about overclocking our cars or something in the spirit of the channel? Well, actually, look, I did say you can get a transmission gearbox tune in the post, which is kind of cool. Thanks very much, Luca. Why did it show Luca's one first? It, like, DT's one hasn't shown up even in the activity feed yet. It'll show up at some point. You've almost got EV range. But I can fill up quicker. I do, at some point in my ownership of the S4, I will want to upgrade the ECU tune, which is essentially overclocking, especially because there's a bypass valve in the supercharger, and basically Audi didn't want the S4 cannibalizing RS4 sales, so the bypass valve is permanently open in the supercharger, which means that it's not developing as much power as it should. So just a straight tune. Thank you very much, Chris. Who's in like a lot of debt right now. Look after yourself first. But yeah, oh, there it is, finally. I forgot what I was saying. Tell me about, oh yeah, just a straight tune, no supercharger pulley, no nothing, gets like an extra 70, 80 horsepower, which is ridiculous. Please just don't undervote it. That's called running lean, and that makes it go boom very fast. Get a BMW and talk about hacking and enabling locked stuff like heated seats and indicators. And oil leaks. Dan, what did we need to do with your car? Do you think more focus on FPS should be in the 1% lows? I heard that consistent frame rates is super important for accuracy. Yes, as a sort of sweeping generalization answer to that question, yes, the 1% lows are very important. They are, as with everything, the taking a single metric only has relatively limited use. The more data points you have, the more useful a comparison you can draw. So, for example, the 1% lows are a very useful measurement for thinking about the consistency of your playing experience, but the average also matters as well. And so being able to look at both of those metrics, even the 0.1% or max or 99% on the other way, if you wanted to do that, the more data points you have, the better a picture you can paint of the playing experience. You can also do things like standard deviation from the frame time as well. That could be a useful metric for determining that sort of stability. It's not... it's also kind of important to read the nuance of the data as well, because while more FPS both in average and in 1% is better. It's also okay for the frame rate to fluctuate to some degree between the like between scenes or between areas, or depending on what's happening, in the frame. But yes, 1% lows are a very useful metric, and it is something that we reviewers talk about in a. I've talked about more often recently. Thank you very much, Simon. Your message will pop up in 5 to 7 business days. Thank you very much. Frame time shouldn't oscillate much. The FPS should be more or less around target, probably over 50. It depends on the game and the benchmark and what your where you're recording that performance. But yeah, in theory it should be pretty stable, but it can and will swing to some degree. Actually, a great example of that is Counter-Strike, like CS, CS2. That you always get really high averages, but the 1% lows are like always about half the average, because especially when you're playing with bots, which is the most consistent way to get benchmark data, the frame rate dips so dramatically when you're up close and personal with multiple, especially enemy bots. It is versus when you're just like out in the. There you go. It turned up a bit sooner. Thank you very much. And you're out in the corner of the map with no one else. So yeah, kind of funny. I feel like endgame and FPS shooters, the FPS dips is when you need it the most. Generally, yes. Although just looking at the 1% lows wouldn't necessarily tell you that. You would probably want a more detailed analysis of the frame time results, correlated with what's happening in the game. Not that will necessarily tell you, give you like actionable information, but it will give you an idea of what's happening, and then you can, tune the settings for that part of the game rather than a generalized look. But yeah. Still trying to wrap my head around the GPU busy metric. I get the concept, but it's still a bit foreign feeling. It's a very cool metric to have access to. I think that the more we can sort of peek under the hood to see what is happening, what are the bottlenecks in your performance, the better a analysis you can make, right? Being able to look at a system and go, actually, if you only care about Starfield, for example, what are the bottlenecks? What bit of hardware can you upgrade first to get the best performance out of this game? And so metrics like GPU busy are a great addition to that. 40 is on from now. Who's king, x86 or ARM? I mean, as a sweeping generalization, I would assume ARM because of the efficiency, but the power of backwards compatibility is real strong. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was x86 is still around. Probably not dominant, but there. Love the recent AFMF video. I don't remember if you made a DLSS 3 video. I'm curious how you feel about it. I can't remember if I did either. I know I've talked about it in a few places, including the COD Modern Warfare 3 latency guide. But Yeah. The DLSS 3 in terms of frame generation, it's the same thing. It's the same thing as AFMF, as I said in the video. It doesn't matter who the creator of that is. The the it's going to add latency, and it's going to be a different gaming experience. Personally, I would argue generally worse, especially because it's fake frames, not just like the upscaling where you might add a bit of latency, but you also decrease the latency because it speeds up the rendering pipeline and process because it's rendering at lower resolution and then upscaling later. So, like, frame generation is an interesting idea for when latency doesn't matter, but the game is still intensive enough to require more performance. Also, the fact that you generally have to have reasonable performance already before enabling it, like AFMF. I can't remember if it just won't enable or if it's just AMD doesn't recommend it, but they they don't recommend you to enable like turn AFMF on if you don't already have at least 60 FPS in like natively, then enable it to get your 120 or whatever. If you're my age, frame gen is amazing because there's no way my old arse noticed the latency. Fair play, man. um, there you go. Funny comparison. Why is RAM overclocking so complicated? Seems like there's 100 settings you can adjust. Well, that's because there are about 100 settings you can adjust. The trouble with memory overclocking is that you are dealing with a very fragile system. It's a very tightly controlled system, and there is just inherently a lot of complexity in transmitting 64 bits worth of data all perfectly simultaneously from one place to another at 5,600 mega transfers per second, like what's that times by a million? So 5.6 billion, 5.6 trillion, whatever. 64-bit bytes simultaneously per second. And so yeah, it's kind of understandably complicated. I've gone down the Buildzoid rabbit hole. From what I've seen, it's because RAM is an extremely stupid device. Also, yes, it is just a store of data, and so accessing it in the right order and extracting data, all this sort of stuff. Again, yeah. You're a wise man, Andy. Explain to me why the W8 Passat is cheaper for me to insure than a 2.2 diesel Mazda 6. My understanding is that it's very few, what are you, 20, 19, whatever, year olds own a W8 Passat. And so their database of like, how likely are you to have like your class of person to have crashed this car before, and they don't have any results for that. So they just default to a standard rate. So yeah, 20 is not old. No, I was asking how old he is, not saying that he is old. He's younger than me by 7 years. A Porsche 928 is cheaper for me to insure than a Volvo 740. One, I love that you know that. And two, amazing. Just amazing. Uh, 928 was £8,000 for me last time I checked. Jesus Christ. Yeesh. I tried to get insurance on a Mazda RX-8 when I was either 18 or 19. And most places just denied me. Oh dear. I remember when I was 17, a Lada was the cheapest car I could find to insure. How much was it? Oh dear. Anyway, while I wait for Dan to answer that one, I will call it there for this week's stream. As always, these are every Thursday night at 8 p.m. UK time, so if you want to pop back next week, feel free. Thank you for hanging about. It's like £650. Jesus, that's still a lot of money. Yeah. Otherwise, I'll catch you all next week. And obviously video tomorrow and video Monday. If you want to keep chatting, jump into Discord. It's linked hopefully in the description. And hopefully maybe Ish might link to it too. Bye.